and they said Gorgeous Mbali looks like somebody who's super focused and she's disciplined. Did you get that from the military? How do you keep going every single day? Consistently you're at the gym, consistently you're at the office.
I think I've been like that.
Really?
Yes.
Even before the
like
military? And that's why it was such a good fit
Because
for you.
I don't like starting something and then just leaving it as is without an outcome that I wanted. So I keep pushing until I get that outcome out of that thing. So with everything that I start, if I want to see like this as a result, I make sure that I keep pushing. I don't give up easily on anything. And I've been like that from like school, like primary and everything.
So growing up, did you know that you were going to be Mbali Sibabu that you
I knew
are
that I was
today?
going to be a big deal.
Really?
Yes.
And is that why you look up to people like Kris Jenner? Because I see in your stories, you're always posting the same boss people. Kris Jenner, Beyonce, and I'm trying to think who the last one is, but it's always those two. Kris Jenner and Beyonce. Always.
Yes.
Are those people your inspiration? Why do you share them with us?
You know what I like about Beyonce? Like her work ethic. Ne? So she'll disappear for a few months. When she comes back, she's banging. She's bringing the fire to us. So even now, you're not like, she's relaxing. You never know what she's up to. She'll just bring in results. I like that. I don't like, oh, guys, I'm so exhausted today. I've been working hard. No, I like people that bring in results. Yes, because I've realized that social media has created this thing where people only want to talk about what they're doing, but we never see what you're doing. And people are just so okay with that they're just creating things.
Church all the way through. And I think spirituality for me has really helped me grow my business, because I think, firstly, it's helped me grow as a person, right? It's helped me identify where my strengths are. So the Word of God says that we are made in the likeness and in the image of God. And when you read the Bible, you get to see the different characteristics of who God is, right? So I think that's why, for me, the thing is, if when you're playing the long game, you're more strategic, right? And you acknowledge that, okay, I've got a synthetic wig right now, and this is what I'm working with. And then you work to the best of your ability with that.
Yeah.
Because the more you do that, the more you're going to grow to eventually afford the lace or whatever it is. And by the time you get to that point, you'll obviously have accumulated enough experience, you've accumulated enough knowledge.
In my journey as a female entrepreneur, one thing that has helped me win in changing times is continuous self-improvement. Be a part of Octa's powerful and inspirational women's community. Join Octa using the link in my bio to empower yourself by trading. #trade her way.
Match up to the look that you're going to be having at that time. So I think it's progressive more than anything, but it also goes back to a conversation we heard earlier when we were talking about faith, that you have to do the work, right? That people are not stupid. People can see through the lace. People can see that, okay, this lace looks good, but is there a conversation? People can see that, okay, the wrapping is amazing, but is the product quality? Yeah. And maybe they will come running because you've put the lace out, but they won't come back. So then what they would rather do is they would then rather go buy synthetic, because they know that they're getting what they're paying for. They will know that if this is how much I'm putting out, this is how much I'm getting. My expectation is not being raised for me to get something that is not as being marketed or put out on social media. So I think be as honest as possible about what you offer, but also at the same time, don't underprice yourself.
Yes.
For me, that's the thing. I think the reason why this message has been so strong for me is because I see a lot of people underprice themselves because they feel like I'm not there yet. But it's like, no, you can gradually grow through your pricing, but do not underprice yourself. I'll tell you a story.
And I love it. What are the 3 or 4 tips that you'd give a budding entrepreneur, someone who's just starting, on how to use social media? What are the 3 things or 4 things they should do when they start?
Okay, first of all, put yourself out there along with your business. So if you're selling, let's say, hot chocolate, right? Don't just sell the hot chocolate in a cup, whatever the case. Be the person behind the hot chocolate. We need to resonate with the person who owns that brand, or whatever the case. Then consistency is another one. Social media is literally where I'd say 90% of your traffic is going to come from. So why do we put such a little emphasis on it?
Yes.
Post every single day. There was a time where I would sit on TikTok live for like 6 hours a day.
6 hours?
Yeah.
And what were you doing?
Talking.
About what?
Airbnb.
For 6 hours?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
like my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's a job. So yes, be consistent, post all the time. If you can go live, that's the best option to, or best way to get new people in, because your lives on TikTok will show it to new people all the time. How many was that? Was that 2?
3.
Was that 3?
It was consistency, be yourself, be the person behind the thing,
the brand.
and go live.
Go live. I'd say the last one. Okay, I have one. Find something that you can trademark and then duplicate that.
Find something that you can trademark and duplicate that.
Yeah,
Give us an example.
Say, for example, I was working with a gin brand not so long ago, and we were struggling with the content. Like, how can we make this a memorable thing? So I came up with this idea where I was like, okay, so this brand's name is X. Right, and I'm gonna go. The whole focus behind the brand is Africanacity, just being proud of being African, and using the African soil to produce a great product. Right. So I would go around on the streets and ask people, "What is your name? What language do you speak? Give me a word in your language that I can try and guess what it means," and then kind of tied it into the brand. Once I started doing those videos, they took off.
Wow.
It was easy because also you can make that a series. You can have part 1 to 100. It's never going to end. And people like something that they can follow.
Jot down every single thing that you love. What can you and can you not live without? Figure it out. Mind map, if you will, whatever it is that you want to do to really narrow things down for yourself so that you're not confused, and then see which one you're going to start with and move on to the next. When I started with Organ Entertainment, I made money, I invested into the next entity. You don't just start out of the blue from nowhere. Have a plan, figure out how you're going to manage the finances, the team that you need to have, how you're going to pay people. Are you making enough money to start getting people on board, or you're just getting excited? Next thing you have 10 people on payroll, and then you're like, oops, what did I do? You can't pay them, or you're really struggling to pay them and you don't even pay yourself enough. So there's all those different challenges that people need to look at to try and avoid, going into a business that you're not really clear about, your vision, you're not ready for, and then you encounter challenges and you drop it because you were not honest with yourself about the amount of work that it's going to take and the responsibility and just a whole lot of things that goes into having a business. So now imagine 9, 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be really honest with yourself and really understand the process and structure. Yeah. So let's talk monetization, because I'm sure everyone watching this is going, oh my gosh, there's so many businesses. How does she make all this money out of it? Yeah. I've tried one business and I still can't make money. You get what I'm saying? Like people are sitting at home going, I've tried one and I can't make money from it. She's making money from 9. How do you go from starting a business to actually starting to monetize in a business?
I think the most important thing about monetization is knowing who your clients are, your customers. I mean, with the podcast, when you started this, I'm pretty sure you had a clear vision of, I'm being driven to start this so that I can inspire 1, 2, and 3. This is your objective. This is what you had in mind. And now the women that are watching this, even the men that watch this, and they're inspired and they're growing and they're learning so much from this platform, you knew what you were doing with it initially. So I think people that don't necessarily monetize through their businesses are people that had you had the right business idea, but the wrong target market. And then you say, but why am I not selling? You're talking to the wrong audience. You're talking to the wrong people, you know? So your idea might be great. I might start a PR agency. Wonderful.
Because you can never change something that you do not know. If you do not know, you cannot change it. So for me, it's so important that it was important for me to do that work. And I do a lot of online mentorship, and it's all about how you can master yourself. Yeah. You can't master yourself if you don't get to confront what's sitting inside of you. So that is so important, because ultimately everything you do stems from here. So for me, I have zero apology in my body. In fact, I live to defy norms. I want someone to tell me, you're a woman, you can't do this.
Yes.
You're gonna see me, I'll be all over it. Because I have had this constant need to prove to myself that I can, you know? And it gets to a point where it becomes second nature to just be yourself. And in fact, everything I do on the online pages or social media is really about getting women to think differently about themselves, getting women to get to a point where they know.
And I think it's important for us to talk about pivoting.
Yeah.
So from going from influencer to doing the business of
Yes.
influence, from creator to doing the business of creator. How does one do that? If someone's listening now, they're like, I want to be like Toby Rose. How do you pivot?
Biggest thing first is to focus on one thing at a time, I believe in, and making that amazing and growing that. So firstly, it's becoming an influencer or a content creator. I really do not think, and if you're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, I want to be an influencer, don't do it, because clearly you are not one. Firstly, number one, right? I have a lot of people who are like, hey, Toby, is being an influencer a lucrative business? Is it, you know, for me already, if you're saying that and thinking that, then you're not supposed to be one. I did not just land here. No one lands where they come, you know, where they become and sit and feel as if they're owning the space. It all came from a place of purpose, as I said. It all came from a place of, I've worked in the space, guys. For me, it was a quick, little smooth transition, right? From being in front of camera, being in front of the radio, to being behind the scenes and now owning myself. It's as easy as that. You need to do it because you know why you were starting in the beginning. You need to do it because you always have been sharing anyway. We all share, right? So I could say we're all influencers, right? But do you want to make money or do you not? And so now you have to know, if I want to make money, there are things I need to do. I need to bring value. I need to share consistently. I need to have good quality. Those are the small things that will lead you amongst others who are doing the exact same.
Like, that's really what I want to say to everyone, is like, when you have got nothing to lose and you're starting out, that's when you're the most powerful. Because once you sleep with that person to give you that job, you have to sleep with them to maintain it. And somebody else who comes, you're going to have to sleep with them. But you see, you're becoming more famous. But the power that's been taken is that when you're powerful, which is what we're experiencing now, when you're so powerful and you're so influential, you can't talk about sexual abuse because you're afraid of the people that you slept with.
And the media who's going to talk about you doing it. So,
do you see how you don't have power?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yep.
But you know when you had power? Is when you could have said no to the person in the beginning. And there's no shortcuts. That's what they mean.
Yes.
Because now you have the power. You can't use the power that you have. What is the point of the power that you have?
Yes.
But if you are courageous enough, you can actually say, just like the guy who can say, I never slapped anyone, I never raped anyone, but I grew up watching this and I did nothing. I actually feel that I want to be part of like changing how this is. Remember that guy that I said would hold my hand? He didn't rape me, but he violated me.
Yes.
So the same thing with this lady. She can say, you know, I didn't know better when I was starting out. But I got taken advantage of this. And then I realized how that has cost me now. But people are afraid to do that. Because they're afraid of the people who they know will come out and say, when I don't talk, you.
And you can't talk.
And
what are you going to say?
What are you going to say?
Yeah.
So